Well, hello, hello. This is Clara Apollo here on Chi Time Podcast, Chi Time TV. Welcome in, welcome in. Really lovely to be with you again. And as you know, these conversations are all about your energy, your natural vitality, how you manage yourself in this crazy world. And on this episode, I'm really thrilled to have with me a very dear friend and someone who I'm working alongside at the moment as well. The lovely Adrian Lee is in the Chi Time hot seat. So welcome into the show, Adrian.
Um, and hello to all Chi Time people, whatever you want to. You've had this for years, haven't you? Chi
I
Time.
have actually, yeah, I have. It's been
So I'm
going on for quite some
honoured to be
time.
here.
Oh, bless you. Well, we have these conversations behind the scenes. So, Adrian is an Akashic Record Clearer and so much more. But this is what he is really bringing through big time right now for so many of us. I mean, it's getting up to thousands of people have been through your Akashic Record clearings now. Yeah.
Yeah, the basically because I'm so grateful to have so many inquiries that I just couldn't facilitate one-to-one sessions with everyone. So just started putting out the group Akashic Record stuff, and we had hundreds coming through, which I'm so grateful for. But what I found out is actually the energy is so high in the groups. I actually think it's better to be in a group Akashic Record clearing.
Isn't it interesting? The sum of the parts and everything, the energy field that we create when we're in that container together, because you hold such a clear, integral zone that there's that sort of the safe to be in that realm with you. And because the intention is to clear out the stuff, then we've got the Akashic Record Masters with us. We've got our guides, our angels, whoever we work with in the unseen realms. They're all on board for this highest vibrational positive, which are three lovely words that I'm really pleased that you brought into my vocabulary. And I don't know if you're listening, watching, if you've heard about this highest vibrational positive before, but Adrian says there's also a high vibrational negative, but we don't focus on that one, do we?
Yeah, I think what I would like to say about that is if everything is duality. So my question is if everything is duality, then there must be a positive and a negative of everything. So I learnt the high vibrational positive theory in something called arc healing. So shout out for bringing that through in that modality. But it just kind of resonated with me once I got my head around it, because I think I tried to fight it to begin with, honestly. But now I'm really in, if there's a high vibration, I want to make sure we're connecting with the positive.
Yeah.
So, and it works. It seems to work. So
It does.
fabulous.
It does. And so what I would like to this discussion to be about is about this word clearing, because I do it a lot in the Qigongs. You probably do it all a lot when you're drinking your water and you've got other ways of clearing your system. And this multi-dimensional way of clearing ourselves is so important at the moment in a world full of so many different versions of toxicity. It's unbelievable. It's like, how can we come into doing all this clearing more and more and at deeper levels? But first of all, I'd like to ask you, Adrian, is how did you get into Akashic Record Clearing? Because I don't think you've been doing this all your life, have you?
No. I was well, I was shown the spiritual path from a very early age, but I ignored it because I was programmed with the three-dimensional egotistical business person.
Mm.
Even though I was shown it many, many times, I even lived with a psychic, and we had stuff moving in our house, and she said, Adrian, you're a healer. And I still ignored it all until 2017, when the universe, of course I did this, not the universe, but the universe helped me, said, Adrian, we're not having this anymore. You need to be shown the spiritual path. And that was done by, I lost my house, I lost my pension fund, I literally had nothing. And after a year of sleeping on people's couches and spare bedrooms, I went to live with my mother for 4 years.
Mm.
And that was a very interesting thing in itself. But yeah, so that's how in 2017, I literally was going, what the heck has just happened to me? And a friend of mine happened to call me and said, I'm having this healing. And I went, okay, I think I need some of that. And that's how it started. So I went off to a energy healing modality and had some really amazing results with that. Now, that was an institute, and I know there's many institutes out there with energy healing, and you could, like, go down whatever route you like. But it was just in lockdown, actually. So 2020. So I was actually using energy healing to help people. And I know it was working because of the great outcomes. But then somebody taught me how to clear by using words and intention. And what I found out very quickly is that, for me anyway, I'm not saying it's for everyone, but for me, something that I might be taking 5 minutes over with energy healing, I could do with a few words in seconds within the Akashic Records. So for me, it was like, well, any shortcuts, it's going to be great. Of course, it's not a shortcut. It's just about intention. And, so I learned the Akashic Records. Then within a year, I was actually teaching how to clear the Akashic Records. But as with everything, in that first few months, I was just going, I've just learned this new modality. Do you want to try it? And so, yeah, I was just trying it, and until I actually had some results, or not me, you know what I mean, it's my higher soul, but until people said, this has happened and that's happened, then I started practicing on a professional basis about 3 or 4 months in after I changed it, because it's so incredible that, what we've had put on us in many different lifetimes, programs, imprints, devices, lots of things which are subconscious, dark magic, still goes on today, I'm afraid, in this lifetime. So we definitely don't want that in our Akashic Records. We don't want that in our energy field. And if we're able, if the time is right, we can clear that. So I've probably gone a bit beyond your question, right? But no, typically started off as an energy healer, then got into the Akashic Records, and it was an absolute game changer.
Quite. Yeah, well, it's changing the game for me as well, and those of you that are regulars on listening to this show, you know that I'm really a strong advocate for Qigong and Reiki and hypnotherapy and dance and sound, and there's what you're drawn to is that, like, this intuitive pathway opens up for you, doesn't it? And it different modalities will come in at different times. I mean, I did several years doing color psychology, absolutely loved it, and was sharing that and teaching it. And now it's part of my repertoire, but it's not the only thing. And this is it. It's making whatever you're using work for you. And this thing about, so if we've got like eons that we've inherited genetically, we've also got eons that we've inherited energetically. And that's what I find really fascinating, that we do have this is it the halls of Amenti, where we've got the Akashic Records there. It's like, what is this place? And there's something that just piques people's curiosity. What, you mean that I can actually clear some of this stuff that I didn't choose for it to be there? Not knowledge,
Yeah.
it's like you feel like you're carrying patterns and conditionings that aren't yours. It's like, how do I shake this off? And I like to shake a tail feather. I like to shimmy, and I think it's good to use your body to help the energy lines clear and to help what needs to leave your system in that way as much as it can. But I love what you said about using words, intention, and words are like spells. That's why they call it spelling. So, but it's using it in positive ways to be very clear. And of course, the words are really a focus for the intention and the energy behind that. It helps you to speak it, say it. You know, that I am thing is so massive. When you speak to yourself, I am, watch what you say after that. Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I would definitely concur, if that's the word, with your thoughts about what you do, Clara, what, you know, another modality. I think probably you can get the same results from almost anything. It's just a different way of doing it. So I'm just happening to use the labeling of Akashic Records.
Well, having done several of these things for the last 25 years, and this word results and expectations and all of that, we'll just leave that to one side. But having an Akashic record clearing session with you is like putting a rocket into your clearing mechanisms. It's like, you really want to clear out? Are you sure? Because here we go. And it's just like, I don't even, I said to you the other day, I don't really even have words for it, but I can feel in my system that some stuff that used to be, I think I call them knee-jerk judgments, that was it, they're just not there anymore. And I knew they weren't mine, but I didn't know how to dislodge them. But the Akashic Records came in and went, yep, we're clearing that out, because it was ready to go. So this is another point of them that I'd like to speak about. When we're clearing, we've got all these different levels of ourselves, of our multidimensional selves, physicality, emotions, mentality, physical, all of that. And now we're talking about the higher realms, of which we probably don't know that much about in our local self, but we're getting more and more in tune with, because we're coming into more of a clarity of who we really are as a soul.
Yeah.
And so this process of clearing is a process, and the system is only let go of that which it is ready to let go of. And so I think this is why now part of your story is you talk about how when you were doing your training that you did 3 months of going in and clearing your Akashic records every single day. This man is hardcore. He just gets
Well,
on with it.
you know, I was getting up early because I needed to fit it in. You can't just
Yeah.
integrate it into your daily routine.
No, you can't do it when you're driving, can you?
No. Now, I recorded it some days, but then I found actually I was drifting off. So I went in and actually said the words to my higher soul, clear, clear, clear. I went through the whole process that I do now. Actually, it was a bit of a shorter process back then, but it was still taking me half an hour, 3/4 an hour every day. But I had a significant shift forward because of what I was doing to myself. And, you know, if now if I say something bad or unintentionally funny, but actually is not good for what I'm here or saying, I'll go, let's clear that from the Akashic Records straight away. Let's
Yeah,
clear that.
yeah.
So, you know, because we do, I like to joke around, but some of those words are not actually very good. So I'll joke and then I'll, I'll clear them.
Find some different words to joke with.
Yes,
But
yes.
yeah, and I like that you're mentioning the lightness of being, because this is serious work. This is serious soul work. But within that, and I found this talking to other people similarly that are in this process and playing with it. This isn't work. This is play, but it's profound play that encourages you to have a lightness of being within you, to have a freshness and a vitality. I think if you get too earnest about it, it can sometimes cause stagnation. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think I think we talked about holding on to energy at some point. And if we, you know, if we're a bit too serious, we hold on to energy, we must be this way, you know, it can feel fairly heavy sometimes. So if we lighten up, like you can do your dance, I can laugh. I mean, laughing is a big relief anyway.
So good.
So if we lighten up, have a bit of a giggle. I'm not saying about all spiritual people, but it is a serious business, but we can actually have some fun as well. And even if it's three-dimensional fun. It's probably fifth dimensional fun,
Yeah.
because we are that way.
Yeah. Having that lightness of being with other similar frequencied people, if there's a freedom to sort of be in the joy. It's like, don't be embarrassed to be joyful. And
No.
because there's so much difficulty in the world, and there's a lot of the conversations that go on in mainstream are all about how ill people are, what their symptoms are, or their friends or their family. It's like, I'm sorry that that's going on for you, but we've got other stuff that we can share here. And so I don't know about you, but I tend to kind of step back from those conversations and go into, well, what's the cool stuff going on? What are you doing for fun?
Yes.
What lightens your load? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, what, are you asking me what lightens my load?
Well, just a
Um,
conversation and
well,
that
yeah,
that
I
kind of
mean,
approach.
I find it naturally easy to be very silly, and be young and juvenile. And then afterwards I go, well, but you can't be someone else. You have to be yourself, don't
You do, exactly.
you?
And I remember a story, just a quick story about my lad when he was growing up. I think he was about 9 or 10, and he realized that he was on the threshold of between being a child and then coming into being a teenager. And I remember him in floods of tears one day, and I what's wrong? What's up with you? And he just, I don't want to stop being a child. I really love being a child. I don't want to be a grown up. And I remember putting my hands really lightly on his shoulders, and I looked at him and said, it's okay. You can bring your child with you.
Yes,
And he was like,
yes.
oh, and then we did something silly or something. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's that, and a lot of the Taoist approach, which is where the Qigong that I share comes from, is having this childlike innocence to be curious in an open way, which I think is really helpful when you're on your spiritual path, because it's you're finding your way, and other people are going to come in with their ideas, which are fascinating and interesting, but it's theirs. So
Yeah.
when you bring it back into your kind of barometer, your truth space in your heart, how does that information land with you, and is that going to then integrate with what you need?
And what I try and do this when I'm talking about positive things is also take me back to when it wasn't so great, because it's easy to talk about things when you're in a good place, but not everybody's in a good place. So I also need to mention, if people aren't in good places, and I believe that I went through some really low vibrational on the floor stuff, so I could have some empathy, or at least have an understanding of this. And I know it's not easy to be joyful and happy when things are on the floor. I get that. I really do get that.
Me too.
And at those points, of course, as healers, we know what we should be doing. We should be thinking about all the positive stuff. We should be saying all the positive stuff. And even that word should, but
Yeah,
so
shoulding.
yeah, well, yeah, shoulding. Yeah, we need to, whatever. So yeah, I'm just very, when I start talking about how joyful, I recognize that there might be some people on this right now that aren't in a great place.
Really, no, then there's a deep empathy for folk like that, absolutely. And as healers, I think it's holding that space for them and being able to listen. I think listening is a really important art, and
Yes.
often folk that are going through difficulties just want someone that
Talk.
can witness it, they can talk it. They don't necessarily need to have any solutions, because
No.
the solutions are going to come through them being able to speak
Yeah.
it and be held and feel that they've been met. Because we don't want to do this spiritual bypassing thing. That's just not healthy at all.
No.
But like you said
No.
at the beginning, we do have this polarity, and if you go down into the depths of the valleys, which both you and I have been to in our different ways, we know there's also the potential to be able to reach the joys and the highs, and it's finding your way through. And the chi helps me, and the reiki and the color and the song and the dance, and now the Akashic Record Clearing is something that is taking my world by storm. And here I am. I'm actually working, yeah, in the back office with Adrian as well. Just and I'm the amount of people that are coming in with their positive testimonials, and occasionally some of them going, I think I've done it too much, which is a question we can get into on Adrian's channel, because he's got his YouTube channel. Is it Adrian Lee Energy?
Yep,
Yeah.
everything. Yep.
Yep. And that's his website as well, but .com on the end, of course. Um, and just there's a real heartening of people when they're sharing something's happened for them that they weren't expecting, and it's really landed for them. They're wanting to share it, and they share it with other people through the testimonials on your website. And I just think you're creating such a beautiful gathering of souls around this energy of what you're doing, but also because you're helping them to empower themselves. So thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's just we do have to share this information because we go in the ascension process. You know, we don't need to do anything, but I think if we can get somewhere quicker rather than later, then let's do that.
Let's do that.
And you know, and if you can get through those really low vibrational, really sticky times very quickly, because I know that stuff happens now that I previously would have spent months in.
Yeah.
But now, with all of the clearing that I've been doing for the last 6 years, and I've been doing it, you know, I have been doing it intensely, I can get rid of, you know, it still bugs me, you know, something might still, but now I'll get rid of it within maybe a couple of days or even within minutes.
Yeah.
And that's the key, of course.
That's great. The universe loves speed. And the toxic patterns don't actually want to stay in you. They're looking for the door. So when you give them the door, they're off and out to be sent to the very corners of the universe, or sent into the Great Mother for composting, or up to spirit. They know what they're doing up there, you know. And it's trusting those transformational processes that all course happen and ripple through all layers of our dimensional selves as well. And so let's move on now to the ascension process. And Adrian is part of a collective, a gathering that's been called through by dear Diana Cooper. There's you involved, and Tim Wilde, and me, I can't pronounce the surname, I'm so sorry. But phenomenal woman. And so Diana's called you all together to create this event over in Portugal on the 22nd of October, which, to be fair, has always been a magical date for me, which is really very interesting why you've chosen it. I've just found, I don't know if it's just because it's a master number or something about October the 22nd that feels really, really powerful. And so I don't know, could you tell us a bit about what this is about, how it started, how you got involved with it, and yeah, a little bit more about this.
So this story could go on forever, but I will make it very short. I just did an Akashic Record Clearing with Diana, and she said, I've been clearing for 40 years, but that was one of the deepest clearings I've ever had. Mm. She said, we need to help you get out there. I'd introduced her to a friend of mine in Portugal, who she was writing for in his paper. She said, let's go and do a little event out in Portugal.
A little event?
Yeah, it was like meant to be 100, 120 people. You know, let's go, we'll go on holiday and we'll do an event at the same time. I went, yeah, that's great, let's do that. And literally, I remember that day, she was going, should we say October the 22nd? You know, that's how it all come about.
All right.
But as soon as we put it in the diary, like, yes, we're doing this, it started to completely unravel and just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And she was getting more and more, again, just goosing at that information. She had information coming through every day. And then we were doing this, and when we were doing that, and it just, okay. And she was having to visit the Galactic Federation to say, can we do this? Can we do that? And there was some petitioning going on as well. So it just got, I'm never going to explain it the way Diana does. Mm. So this is my bullet point potted history of how it all come about. So what we've ended up with, and this was a few months ago now, basically the whole day is, so we're starting off by raising the frequency of the third eye in the morning. Now, AJ Roberts is also going to be assisting Diana with that process, because that gift of his that's come back is he's already helping people raise the frequency of their third eye. So he's going to help Diana in the event. Then I'm going to do a full Akashic Record deep clearing on my own to everyone who's there, 500 people there, and I'm going to say lots of people online. We have a plan.
Oh yes, the
We're
live stream.
executing that plan right now. And if the universe supports it, it will happen. So I will then go for a deep Akashic Record clearing just before lunch. We'll have lunch, and then afterwards, Diana will help us, whoever's online, whoever's there, and whoever does the recorded version within 21 days, we will merge with our monads. So that is merging with our I am presence, merging with our God spark, where we originally came from. And what she's been told from her guides and everyone that she's been communicating with in those upper realms, it will literally force the frequency forward of the world if we get X amount of people doing it on that day or within 21 days. So it's called Raising the Frequency of the World, and it will push us forward on the ascension process. I think there's quite a number of people saying that so it will push us forward as individuals, but also on a collective conscious level as well.
Now, this is brilliant. Sorry, can I just say, because
Yes.
there's quite a lot. We've been noticing this. There's research that has been done over in America. Dr. Roger Nelson's doing it over there, and where he's been able to measure the energy around the world when things like, say, the World Tai Chi Qigong Day occurs, the energy goes right up in the world. So we know through all the Limit Taggart's all her experience as well, when more of us are involved, it really does increase the amount of Positivi-Chi around the world. And so the more we do this, the more we recognize this need to gather together to really amp up. Not only are we going to benefit as individuals, but as you say, the whole of humanity, and to keep that energetic connection. Okay, it's a one-off thing, but the ripples will continue, and then we step back into our own practices and maybe gather together in smaller groups or whatever, and keep connecting, keep being with that frequency, with that vibration, because this is the new normal, and getting used to that. Is that?
Absolutely. For there's certain people on the path that obviously are going to benefit a lot more, and then there's going to be more coming behind from that. But absolutely, we will all I feel the difference now, don't you? In the energies, even in the last 3 months, it's like things have changed, and so it's just getting higher and higher, and there's no stopping us.
Ain't no stopping us now. And I'll play you a tune if I was able to do that, but I can't play you tunes anymore. But you can.
Maybe I'll just mention what Mia Kafkios and Tim Wilde are doing in the afternoon as well with us.
That would be good. Thank you.
So while and again, Diana was given this information that I needed to anchor the energy from Andromeda, the higher heart center. Mia Kafkios has been given special permission from the Galactic Council to bring in the energies from Lyra, and Tim is going to bring it from Helios. In each one has its own reason for doing that, but again, we could be here all day talking about why, and then we'll be merging with a monad.
So super powered, and in a very special space in the south of Portugal. and being called out of the UK. Very interesting. And then having different pods all around the world, which is why it's so beautiful that's going to be live stream. And I reckon that some people will be gathering in their groups and communities and sharing that live stream vibe together. You know, it
Yeah.
just feels so. If you're feeling this, if you're feeling called, like you'd like to find out more and come along and be part of this auspicious event, then I'm going to pop a link in the description below here on YouTube, or if you're listening on podcast, it will be on the description on the podcast channel, hopefully, or if not, hop over to my website, which is claire@apollo.com, or even Adrian's, which is Adrian Lee.
Well, actually, yeah, no, direct them towards your website, because
Okay.
this is your show.
Yeah, fair
And
enough. Thank you.
yeah, so all the information will be on those links, and you'll be able to book direct as well. But if you're going to be at home on your own, that is brilliant, and just enjoy either the whole day or the merging with the monad. But what we're really encouraging people is to get together. You know,
Yeah,
someone get one link
yeah,
and get your friends round.
I think
Enjoy
so.
it, enjoy it. You know, because it's so much better when people, you know, you're with like-minded souls.
Definitely, you're doing these profound processes, and the internet, you know, has given us this opportunity to be able to share globally, which is something we wouldn't have thought about 20 years ago, or we would have hoped we could do it, but we wouldn't quite know how to do it.
Yes.
So yes, it's great to be in person, of course it is, but we also know that the vibrations reach through into the quantum field, and we're all there working and playing in that realm as well. So yeah, to call in your friends, to create a group harmonic in your area, in your zone, or if you're on your own, you know you're tuning in with that. So you can tune in with that collective
Yeah.
wherever you are. And as you say, also we've got a 21 days afterwards, the replay will be available. So it's something that you can visit back again and again. And I think that is coming back to this intuition piece that really feels like this whole event began with Diana's intuition of it, and to hope what we both do with what we bring through is to encourage people to trust their intuition. You know what's right for you, and so that I hope will help you to move forwards in your true soul path, what you're here to do, and trusting yourself, and trusting that the right people are going to come in, and those that are ready to go can just leave with grace and ease. Just walk away from those folk that complain or talk about things that you don't really want to talk about anymore. You know.
Yeah, I mean, Diana believes that this day, 22nd of October, is going to be the most important day since 2012.
Oh yeah, I remember she's saying that, isn't she? Yeah. So this is the
So,
next step along, and her new book, What the Golden Future, is sort of,
yes,
this is all a part of that rolling out now.
I do have my copy.
Oh, you do?
But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, no, but this is it. And gold is, if in color psychology, gold is the highest frequency of all the colors. So it's often the color that will be invited in to begin with, because then it sets the tone for the highest vibrational positive, and then whatever color drops in for you will be what you need at that time. It may be gold, or it may be the whole spectrum. You know, we know that white light contains the whole prism, the whole spectrum, but the energy of gold is here. It's not just the color, it's the chi of gold. That truth, that honesty, that integrity, that joy, that love, that connection, that high vibe, here we come kind of thing. So
This is part of our having our fun.
it is part of our having our fun. So look, anything else that you want to say before we just wrap this up?
No, I've loved this conversation. I need to put this on my YouTube channel too.
No, all
So,
right then. I'll let you. We'll
um,
spread it well wherever it's helpful and wherever
and
you're
but
tuning.
you,
Yeah.
maybe we'll finish off by, because this is your channel, but you believe you've been working out how you can integrate the Akashic Records into what you do, right? Which is maybe another step forward, but you may not want to talk about that right now. But so I'll
Well,
leave it there.
it's crossed my mind because you're doing some Akashic record trainings coming up, and I will be part of those. because I'm
Yes.
part of your team. And I'm just feeling that there are folk that come into the Chi sessions that I offer, and we're talking about clearing the fears out of the kidney zone, clearing the angers out of the liver, all of that super practical, great and energetic stuff. But what if I could also offer them the possibility of having an Akashic record clearing as well, and just have that part of the clearing repertoire? I think that sits really well with what I offer. So thank you for bringing it into my life.
So when this goes on my YouTube channel, how do people get hold of you?
Oh, claraapollo.com, or on the socials, it's at Clara Jo Apollo. Don't ever call me Clara Jo, but I had to do that because Facebook kicked me off and I had to come back in again. So that's what it is.
Okay.
And of course, here on the Chi Time TV on YouTube, or the Chi Time podcast on all of the podcasting platforms. So thank you, Adrian.
Super awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for being part of Chi Time. It's been such fun. I've been trying to get you on here for ages. So thanks for stepping into the zone with your super backdrop. I'm really loving that. So, and thank you all for listening. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Clara, for everything that you do. Thank you.
You're really welcome. And to everyone listening, keep your chi up. Your energy is important, and so are you. Much love from us.
Much love.
Now.